before going onwards in the discussion, let us first understand the nature of the surfaces which are very much required to understand in the context of Gaussian theorem. So particularly there are two types of surface. One is called the open surface and other is called the closed surface. Now how will you recognize which surface is the open surface and which surface is the closed surface? So let us take an open surface, and it is just like this. So this is an open surface, and how will you understand that it is an open surface? So open surface simply means if you are punching an hole from this side and you will penetrate something from this side, it will appear on this side, right? So this kind of surface is called the open surface. And what is closed surface? Suppose I am taking a sphere, right? Here it is a square planar surface which is an open surface, and this can be regarded as it is a sphere. A sphere, and a sphere is regarded as the closed surface. How will you recognize that? Suppose you are going to punch an hole and penetrate something into it, then it will not directly appear from the other side of the surface. It will go inside, right? So there is some cavity or some volume inside which is covered by something or some material, then it is called the closed surface. So open surface, it is very simple. You are penetrating from this side, it will appear from the other side. You are penetrating from this side or this side, it will not going to appear on the other side, right? So this is closed surface and this is open surface, right? Now another important thing is to find area vector for open surfaces and the closed surfaces. And I have already told you about the open surface. We are aware of the fact that area vector is always perpendicular to the area itself. And for the open surface, it is our own choice whether we will going to take it in the vertically or the perpendicular to the area upwards, perpendicular to the area downwards. It is your choice, right? But there is a convention of taking area vector in the closed surfaces, and which is at any point of time, at any place of the closed surface. Suppose I am taking this particular position of the closed surface. It is the center of the sphere. If I draw a normal at this particular point or at this particular elementary section, then the normal will go like this. Now this normal at this particular point or the elementary part, the normal can be taken as this in this direction or in this direction. This is called outward direction of the normal, and this is called towards the center or the inverse direction of the normal. So sign convention or the convention of the area vector for the closed surfaces is very simple. Outwards normal is taken as the direction of area vector for a closed surface. So what is our convention? Outwards normal is taken as the direction of area vector for closed surface, right? This is outwards normal, this is inwards normal. So outwards normal is taken as the direction of area vector for the closed surface. So by this elementary knowledge of electric flux as well as the direction of area vector, now we can very easily understand the concept of Gauss law. I am not going to prove the law itself. I am just telling you the law, about the law, basic facts about the law, terminology of the law, and then I will go into the application of this law for the different kind of surfaces, right? So let me write the Gauss law. So what Gauss law states? Suppose I am having a closed surface like this. This is a closed surface, and suppose at this particular point the area vector is A vector. At this particular point the electric field is E vector, or because I am taking this as an elementary area, so it is E vector for the electric field and dA vector for the area vector, elementary area vector. So what is the flux associated? You can see very easily it is a closed surface, and I have taken dA vector in the direction of outwards normal, right? So E vector and dA vector, the dot product of these two will give you d phi, and it is equal to E vector dot dA vector, right? So this is the flux crossing through this particular elementary surface. Now this is a closed surface, so if I want to calculate the total flux associated here, so total flux associated will be integration of E vector dot dA vector, and we have already understood this particular result over the surface. Now one additional point is to be taken into consideration, and which is this loop sign. Loop sign indicates that it is a round surface, closed surface, right? So for a closed surface, the total flux is written as E vector dot dA vector, closed surface, and this stands for the surface. This is the total flux associated with this surface, and according to the Gauss law, total flux associated with a closed surface is equal to 1 upon epsilon times the total charge enclosed inside the surface, right? So I am first writing the law itself, and it is total flux associated is integration of E vector dot dA vector for the surface, closed surface, and it is equal to 1 upon epsilon naught times the charge enclosed Q inside. This is Q inside, right? So this is the statement of Gauss law. Total flux of electric field associated with a closed surface is equal to 1 upon epsilon naught times the total charge enclosed inside the surface. What is the meaning of total charge enclosed? Suppose I am having Q1 charge minus Q2 charge plus Q3 charge. Suppose we are taking Q1 as the plus, and some charges are outside, Q4 minus Q5. So what is Q inside? Q inside means the total charge enclosed inside the surface. You can very well understand that Q1 is inside the surface enclosed, minus Q2 is inside the surface, Q3 is inside the surface, but Q4 and Q5 are the outside of the surface. So for this particular figure, we can write Q inside as Q1 minus Q2 plus Q3. Getting the point? Q1 minus Q2 plus Q3, right? So Q inside is this thing epsilon naught, you know, the absolute permittivity of the free space, and here in the left hand side it is the flux of the electric field associated with the closed surface. E is the electric field, dA is the area vector for the element, and then we have taken the integration over the closed surface here, right? So this is basically overall the Gauss law. There are few things to understand in this particular law. We are calculating the flux by two ways, one from the left hand side of this equation, one from the right hand side of this equation, right? If we are aware of the total charge enclosed inside the surface, we can directly calculate the flux as Q inside upon epsilon naught, no problem. Q inside is the total charge enclosed inside the surface. But what about when we are going to calculate the flux from the left hand side of the equation? So for the left hand side of the equation, we are required the area vector, dA vector, and we are also required the electric field. Now what is electric field? Suppose at this particular point, electric field is E. So electric field is due to how many charges? The charges inside the surface, charges outside the surface, or the total charges. So one thing that you should keep into your mind, that electric field, while calculating the flux in the left hand side of the equation, electric field is due to all the charges, whether they are inside or outside the surface. So I am just writing that thing. In the left hand side, of the equation, the left hand side of the equation, electric field is calculated due to all the charges. All the charges means Q1 minus Q2, Q3, Q4 and minus Q5. So all the charges, whether they are inside or whether they are outside, right? So this is the statement of the Gauss law. You can take any of the book if you are interested in the derivation of this particular law. This is not a very difficult kind of derivation. You can very easily understand by some textbook. I have just written here a statement of that law. Now I will take the application of this particular law for the different surfaces, and before going into the detail of that, let me tell you something, that this video is prepared in different sections. So in one section you will get some part of of the law, and for the remaining parts you may go into the description part. You will get the link over there, and from that link you will get the remaining portion of that particular lecture. Right now, okay?